generations of players and fans, end quote. Obviously, this is something we want to see because there's a lot of changes we did not expect, and somebody that knows a little thing or two about changes, my guy, the guru of the greens, Doug Bell, with this news here. Biggest changes we've seen in a decade here, Doug, in terms of the game itself. Your thoughts on what you heard from Tiger and also what this means for golf?
Brandon, monumental changes starting in 2028. Brian Rolapp was brought in as the new CEO. The PGA Tour had never had a CEO. Now he's not only the CEO, but it was announced today he is the new commissioner. Tiger announced that today, gave the blessing, and here we go, 2028. Brian Rolapp announced it'll be a shortened PGA Tour season. That is for the Championship Series, starting in February, ending in August, 20 to 24 events. They haven't settled on the total number. $20 million purses for those events, 120 players. You have to earn your way into that top 120, and it will be significant. He's hoping with less tournaments, the bigger names will play more often. And again, there will be off weeks on the new PGA Tour in 2028. Never after a major championship will you have one of these big championship events. So it'll be a new look PGA Tour. There will be new cities on the schedule that do not have events as of right now. Then, Brandon, you go down to the Challenger Series. That's the next level of players who don't qualify for that upper tier. That could be upwards of 144 players per tournament. $4 million purses, and it's 144 or maybe less depending on where they play and if there's daylight left in those particular tournaments. So again, you can earn your way back into the Championship Series, or if you don't play well enough to finish in the top 90, you drop down to the Challenger Series. So again, the number of total tournaments, Brandon, will still be around 47 in 2028, but it's now a two-tier system. The championship level, which in essence are the biggest names in the game, and then the Challenger Series, which involves some players who drop down, but other young and up-and-coming stars. So it'll be a new look in 2028. It's exciting, and I'm looking forward to it. Again, if you love golf, it'll be on every week. It's just the big names won't be playing as much as they do right now in the current PGA Tour schedule.
Doug, folks at home probably just hearing this and they're probably like, what is going on here? So let's break and dive into it a little bit more. You mentioned the promotion and relegation. Is this good news or bad news for that average tour pro that we see week in and week out?
Well, Brandon, the PGA Tour always has been and always will be the ultimate meritocracy when it comes to professional sports, different from team sports, where these athletes sign the big contracts, and regardless whether they have a good year or a bad year, they're getting paid. The PGA Tour, you have to play really well to maintain your status now, especially on the Championship Series. Again, the top 120, you have to maintain the top 90 to stay on that level. Again, $20 million purses, only about 20 to 24 tournaments, and then you drop down, and that's the average player you're talking about, the journeyman, maybe the young up-and-comer. Where are they going? Well, if you win twice on the Challenger Series, you get automatically promoted to the Championship Series. And at the end of the year, there'll be another opportunity in the fall for players who fall out of that category too to earn their way back into the Challenger Series for the next year. It sounds complicated, but in the end, Brian Rolapp wanted to simplify things for golf fans. And I think when you read into it, just a two-tier system, a new playoff system, it does simplify things somewhat.
When you look at this system, obviously that would end the sponsorship exemptions that we do see. When you think about it, the big picture, is that a good thing for the game of golf?
Well, again, it's a meritocracy. You have to earn your way to the upper tier, and you can lose your status and fall to the lower tier. Again, I think that's a question that Brian Rolapp didn't completely answer because, for example, I think the great Tiger Woods is back. It was great to see him today at the press conference. Surely some of these big events would like Tiger to come in and play occasionally, right? So we'll see what happens. Those questions will be answered down the road. But for now, I think we need to concentrate. 2027 will be just like this year and years in past. But 2028, a brand new look on the PGA Tour. And keep in mind, Brandon, remember, the PGA Tour always started Super Bowl weekend in January. Brian Rolapp came from the National Football League. He wants to start in February once the NFL is completely over, and he wants to take advantage of the month of June and July. Once the NBA crowns their champion, once the NHL crowns their champion, he feels June and July are an opportunity. Those months are an opportunity for the PGA Tour really to elevate their status, not among just golf fans, but sports fans in general. So he's looking big picture. The PGA Tour has never had eyeballs like Brian Rolapp before, who came from the National Football League. I think it's exciting, and I think it's all positive, and I like what I heard today from Brian Rolapp.
I want to go back to that because we were waiting for the transition from Jay Monahan to Brian Rolapp there, and obviously he spoke to the players at 8 this morning and 10 p.m., obviously talking to the media about this new rollout here. What type of statement is this for him as he tries to put his fingerprint on golf?
Well, I think it's a big statement. You know, it really was. Listen, Jay Monahan went through the battles with Live Golf when they came on board, and we talked about it a lot on HQ, and that lasted for several years. Now that Live apparently is going away, we're not exactly sure what the final analysis is there, but it seems like they're departing the scene. Jay Monahan has been working side by side with Brian Rolapp, and it's a very smooth transition. I think Monahan spoke on behalf of the players, and past history, Rolapp is not a golf guy. Even though he respects the tradition of the PGA Tour, he's looking and has visions for the future. And I think together, Monahan and Rolapp have worked on something with Tiger Woods heavily involved, and a player like Lucas Glover, former U.S. Open champion who's been out there for more than 20 years. He talked on behalf of the average player, which you brought up, Brandon, the journeyman player. So I think they got a lot of input from a lot of sources, and from all indications, everybody's very pleased with what is going to transpire in 2028.
Doug, you mentioned postseason golf. I want to get back to that in terms of maybe upping the play, something that we would like to see towards the end of the season. How will that impact it more, maybe a little more buzz and interest down the stretch of the season in this new format?
Again, it was announced today at the end of the new 2028 regular season, this championship season, you will have a champion who will benefit, obviously, monetarily, and they'll celebrate you finished number one. But then we head to the playoffs, just like they do in the National Football League, where Brian Rolapp came from. And it's going to be a rotating system where different cities, maybe some cities who've never had an event, will host a playoff event, and then you advance as you go. You play in the first round. If you don't play well enough, you don't make it to the second round. And then you go on to the third round, which will be match play. In talking with all the players, Tiger Woods included, they thought match play was the format that would excite the fans of the PGA Tour. So ultimately, I think they haven't announced the numbers, but I think it'll come down to probably maybe 32 players, and we'll have the match play format, which ultimately will lead to the winner. And they haven't come up with a name yet. Right now, you have the winner of the FedEx Cup. They haven't announced what the new name will be in 2028, but they did announce that it'll be a rotating system. Right now, it's in Atlanta, East Lake. Now it will go to new cities as we move on in 2028. So I think that's exciting too. It's going to, as he said, it's going to go to big cities, big golf courses that you've heard of that have never hosted a PGA Tour Championship event. It's exciting. It really is monumental change today, and I think the future looks very, very bright.
I don't know if they have a name, like you said, maybe the Doug Bell Championship Challenge. That works for me. I mean, that works for us as well here when it comes to HQ. The Guru of the Greens, Doug Bell, appreciate you joining us on that breaking news 2028. It will be